What's up, gamers? And today I want to talk to you guys about the exciting future of Dr. Ratio and future teams that he's going to be able to be ran on to make him even better than he already is, because let's be honest, he is probably one of the best single target damage dealers in the game right now. He is absolutely free, so everyone has him. So I would assume if you're a free-to-play player, you're wanting to have him on your account and have him be as good for as long as possible. So we're going to start by talking about what a basic team is, and then we're going to improve upon that of what can be added to the game in the future character-wise to actually improve upon his teams and make him even better and make him more future-proof for your account. So let's go ahead and start off first with a basic team breakdown of kind of what the team is and how he has to be run. So starting off with a very basic team right here is going to be Bronya, Dr. Ratio, Silverwolf, and Swan. Now the reason I say this is a very basic team is because everyone on this team has one function and they use that function and do that function really well. Bronya being a dedicated buffer for Dr. Ratio being the DPS for the team, the main DPS on the team, Silverwolf for applying debuffs on the enemy and applying defense shred, stuff like that to increase his damage. Inherently through his kit he gets increased damage, ensures he hits his follow-ups and everything like that, because you do need to run a debuff on the team with Dr. Ratio. And then obviously Swan for our sustain type character, so he's able to stay alive, the whole team's able to stay alive, and you're able to get the work done that he needs to do and just survive the content, right? But what are some other comps that can be ran? What are some other comps that were already being seen ran? Obviously, we're seeing people run like Silverwolf and Topaz, or we're seeing Bronya Topaz, and the common denominator is Topaz. And why is Topaz being ran on a team with him? Because first of all, she increases follow-up damage, right? So she inherently acts as a buffer for Dr. Ratio while applying a debuff to the enemy as well. This serves two roles, right? It serves the role of applying an extra debuff to the enemy, so you can potentially have higher damage output from Dr. Ratio, while also providing a damage bonus for him as well, so he's able just to do more damage in general. And these are the two comps that we're seeing quite often and really frequently with Dr. Ratio right now, and I think this comp right here, or this type of comp, is the future of Dr. Ratio, that being like a dual DPS comp. I think that's where he's going to try the best at, is in dual DPS comps and dual DPS situations. He just seems like that type of character to me, even though he does incredibly high single target damage, with his ult being able to target one enemy and like just guaranteeing follow-ups on that enemy for 2 turns. It kind of makes it so that if you run a dual DPS, you could maybe have him target one enemy, his follow-up or ultimate targets another enemy, and then break both shields at the same time, kind of making him into like a multi-target character, right? That's how I see it, and that's my perspective on it. Surely it might be cope, right? But one thing can be said about Dr. Ratio teams is there are a lot of requirements for the team, right? And my personal opinion, he's very similar to Jing Yuan. As far as the requirements go, right? And I plan on making a full in-depth video on talking about why Dr. Ratio is the exact same as Jing Yuan, but I need to do some more researching. This is feels crafting right now. He just feels very similar to Jing Yuan on a lot of levels. Anyways, that's not what this video is about. We're talking about how the future is exciting for Dr. Ratio. So let's go ahead and talk about now signs of a different composition for Dr. Ratio. Now, if you guys didn't see 2 days ago when I posted my video talking about Dr. Ratio and Kafka being great on a team together, that kind of signifies what I'm talking about, right? And the team that I ran for this was Kafka, Dr. Ratio, Ruanmei, and Swan. And what is so good about this team, right? This team might look pretty lackluster on the surface level, but I guarantee you it's not. And the reason I say that is because we have Kafka and Ruanmei. Both of these provide very crucial roles, right? Let's take Ruanmei for example, because she's the easiest role to fill in here. Ruanmei buffs your Dr. Ratio, but not only does she buff Dr. Ratio, when she uses her ultimate, depending on what your energy recharges at and how you have her built, she can have practically an infinite 1 debuff uptime on the enemy, which adds an extra debuff for Dr. Ratio. So she's already kind of playing 2 roles, mainly a buffer, but she can provide that 1 debuff that really enhances Dr. Ratio's playstyle. On top of this, she gives weakness break efficiency, so that means his follow-ups do more weakness break on the enemy, meaning you can break the shields faster. But the harder one to explain here would be Kafka. And Kafka, a lot of people crap on her. I know, I don't know why. Yeah, sure, her damage is not the best, like she doesn't have the highest damage. But this is what a lot of content creators said would happen with Kafka is Kafka's gonna be really good off rip, but she's going to become a sub DPS. But with the rise of dual DPS, and let's be honest, Dot's on the rise as well, I think she makes a great match for him, and let's talk about why that is. So, the reason why Kafka made such a great match for Dr. Ratio, first of all, she has follow-up attacks, meaning she can attack multiple times. She provides debuffs on the enemy, not to mention if you have E1 or a light cone, you could have one of 3 light cones for her, that being her signature light cone, the Silver Wolf signature light cone, or even Resolute Pearl Shines of Sweat, whatever it's called, the Luca light cone that provides an extra debuff on the enemy. And for being realistic here, Kafka can hit 3 debuffs on the enemy on her own, depending on what you're running on her, right? She gets 1 from her follow-up attack, she gets 1 possible from her break, which that can be applied to any character, and then she also gets 1 from a light cone or E1, or even 4 if you want to run a light cone and her E1. That's getting really sweaty though, and we're not going to talk about going too sweaty or super sweaty here because this is meant for free-to-play players, right? So I think Resolute Shines Pearls of Sweat would work here as well. And the reason why the follow-up attack plays a crucial role is because if you have another character on your team, say like your Swan, you don't need to use a skill, you can single target the enemy with the, let's say, his ultimate debuff on him, the Wiseman's Folly on that enemy. You attack, follow-up attack from Dr. Ratio, she follows up, follow-up attack from Dr. Ratio, you automatically get all of your Wiseman's Follies out immediately like that, and this really enhances the gameplay here, right? And also on top of this, she's providing AoE damage as well, so she's able to kill the little side shitter mobs and just do a lot of damage on them and make sure they're off the battlefield because he's focusing on the bosses, right? He's trying to get the bosses killed, and I think that's what's going to change in the future, right? Using Kafka as an example here, she provides follow-up attacks, she provides debuffs, and she provides damage as well. I think these multi-class type of characters are really going to play well with Dr. Ratio for the future. So let's talk about what that could look like, right? Maybe we have another buffer that does more debuffs on the enemy, like Ruan May. So that would play the role of Silverwolf perfectly. You wouldn't need to run Silverwolf on the team. Not saying Silverwolf's bad, but it could technically be better to run someone other than Silverwolf now because you have a character that can do both buffing and debuffing on the enemy, which enhances him more. You could have your tank characters that also buff you up, aka Swan. She acts as a buff, or maybe even debuff the enemy, right? You can use Trends of Universal Market, but you do lose some sustainability there with your tank itself, but if they can provide a debuff on their own to the enemy, that would also help them out. I think the biggest thing here, the biggest one here, would be characters that are able to both provide a buff to him and provide a sub DPS level of damage. Really, any character that can provide something that the team needs, like a buffer, like a debuffer, like a sustain, but is also able to provide a good amount of damage as well, and I think we'll see that with Sparkle. That's just my speculation on that. We'll have to wait for the live stream to know what she actually does, but I think Sparkle is going to work really well with Dr. Ratio for a number of reasons. But I think that she could be a really good and solid pick for Dr. Ratio and Dr. Ratio teams. But I think once we start seeing more characters like that, seeing characters that are able to do all of these different things, that's when we'll see the future enhanced for Dr. Ratio. That's what makes me excited for building my Dr. Ratio up and using him in the future. And I think those are the characters you should be pulling for. While on paper, they might not look like the strongest character ever. The point is with these characters is that they're able to do multiple different things, so you can slot them into multiple different situations, i.e. Kafka, putting her in follow-up comps, putting her in dot comps, putting her as like a Kritka comp. Like, there are so many comps you can run her in. While she might not do the highest damage for those comps, or she might not do the highest damage for most of those comps, she can still be ran those comps as a sub DPS and can provide a lot of value for your account. And I think those are the characters we should be pulling for if you want to enhance the future of your Dr. Ratio. Characters that can provide a lot of value for your account, while they might not be doing the highest level of damage, it'll more future-proof your Dr. Ratio by pulling on these type of characters. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video on what I think the future looks like for Dr. Ratio. Me personally, I'm excited for it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Do you think the future is exciting for Dr. Ratio, and what do you think future team comps could be for Dr. Ratio? Or do you think this is Silverwolf comp and Ruan May comp's always going to be the best in slot comp for him? Let me know down in the comment section down below, guys. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. Also, for the Black Swan giveaway, we are doing a Black Swan giveaway and how you need to enter that, which is not up yet, but it will be up in a couple of weeks, or whenever the announcement is of when her banner is coming out. We will be running a giveaway for Black Swan, and all you have to do is subscribe to this YouTube channel right here. Yeah, hit that little red subscribe button down there, and from there you'll need to join the Discord, which is in the description down below. After joining that Discord, you'll just need to wait until I put the giveaway up. After I put the giveaway up, you'll be able to enter in for your chance to win a free Black Swan. Anyways, gamers, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Later. Bye-bye.